What happens when a live television moment spirals into something no one expected? In this video, we are going to dive deep into a dramatic, cinematic, emotionally intense recreation of a shocking on-air clash, where Dolly Parton's quiet strength collides head-on with Joy Behar's cutting sarcasm, pushing a live TV set from playful banter into a humiliating breaking point that no one in the studio, or at home, saw coming. The studio lights glow warm, almost deceptively soft. Applause rolls in waves as the cameras glide across the set. Everything looks perfect. Too perfect. Dolly Parton sits comfortably on the couch, hands folded, posture relaxed, that legendary smile gently fixed in place. The kind that has disarmed critics, executives, and entire rooms for decades. Her eyes sparkle, but there's calculation behind them. Experience. Awareness. Across from her, Joy Behar leans back slightly, arms loose, expression sharp. She smiles too, but it's a different smile, one edged with challenge, one that suggests the conversation is about to stop being polite. The host finishes the introduction, praising Dolly's legacy, her kindness, her philanthropy. Dolly nods graciously, offering a soft laugh, waving it off like she's done 1,000 times before. Then Joy leans forward. "So, Dolly," she says, voice light but precise, "you've built this whole image around sweetness, forgiveness, being above the mess. But let's be honest, that's a brand, right?" A subtle shift ripples through the studio. Dolly tilts her head, still smiling. "Well, honey, everything's a brand if you live long enough." Light laughter from the audience. Joy doesn't laugh. "But isn't it exhausting?" Joy continues. "Always playing nice? Never taking a real stand? Never calling people out?" The smile on Dolly's face doesn't fade, but it tightens. "I don't believe kindness means silence," Dolly replies evenly. "It just means choosing your battles." Joy raises an eyebrow. "Or avoiding them." A few gasps. The camera cuts to Dolly's face. Calm. Still. But her eyes harden just a fraction. "I've been fighting my whole life," Dolly says softly. "I just don't do it with claws out." Joy chuckles. "Some people would say that's convenient." The audience laughter this time is thinner, uneasy. Dolly exhales, folds her hands again. "Some people say a lot of things." Joy isn't done. "You've stayed neutral on a lot of controversial issues. You never get angry on camera. You never snap back. So I'm wondering, is that who you really are? Or is that just what sells?" Silence. The host shifts in their chair. A producer off camera mouths something urgently. Dolly looks directly at Joy now. No smile. Just steady eye contact. "I know who I am," she says. "The question is why it bothers you so much." The crowd reacts. A low murmur, a few claps quickly shut down. Joy smirks. "It doesn't bother me. I just think honesty matters." "So do manners," Dolly replies. The tension thickens. The air feels heavier. Even the lights seem harsher now. Joy crosses her arms. "Manners shouldn't protect people from criticism. And criticism," Dolly says calmly, "shouldn't be an excuse for cruelty." That word lands hard. Cruelty. Joy's smile fades. "Wow, that's a strong accusation." "It's an accurate one," Dolly says, voice still gentle, but unyielding. The host tries to interject. "All right, let's—" "No," Joy interrupts, eyes locked on Dolly. "Let her finish." Dolly pauses. For a moment it looks like she might step back. Retreat. But instead, she leans forward. "I've spent my life being underestimated," she says. "People thought because I smiled, I didn't see. Because I didn't shout, I didn't feel. Because I didn't humiliate others, I didn't have power." Her voice never rises, and that makes it worse. Joy shifts uncomfortably. "But I won't sit here," Dolly continues, "and be talked down to on my own character for the sake of a clever moment." Applause breaks out. Real this time. Loud. The host looks relieved. Joy does not. Joy laughs sharply. "Oh, come on, Dolly. This is television. Don't be so sensitive." Dolly straightens. Honey, she says quietly, respect isn't sensitivity. The audience erupts. Joy opens her mouth to respond, then stops. Her jaw tightens. She glances off camera, then back at Dolly. You know what? Joy says, standing suddenly. If we can't ask honest questions anymore, then maybe this show isn't for me. Gasps. The host freezes. Dolly remains seated, calm as ever. I never stopped you from asking, she says. I just answered honestly. Joy grabs her cue cards, hands shaking now. This is ridiculous. She turns to leave. The camera struggles to keep up as producers rush in. The applause turns chaotic. Voices overlap. Someone whispers urgently into a headset. Dolly watches Joy walk off the set. Not triumphantly, not smugly, but with something closer to sadness. As the cameras fade, one truth hangs in the air. This wasn't a blow-up. This was a breaking point, and it's only just beginning. The applause doesn't stop immediately. It stutters. Fragments of clapping collide with stunned silence, confused murmurs, and the low hiss of producers shouting instructions just out of frame. The camera hesitates, unsure whether to follow Joy Behar's retreating figure or stay locked on Dolly Parton, who still sits perfectly still on the couch. Dolly hasn't moved. Her hands rest calmly in her lap. Her posture is upright, composed, almost regal. But her eyes follow Joy until she disappears beyond the curtain. The host clears their throat, forcing a laugh that lands flat. Well, that was unexpected. No one laughs. A producer's voice crackles through the host's earpiece. The host nods rapidly, sweat forming at the hairline. Let's take a quick break, the host says. The lights dim. The red camera light clicks off, and the room exhales. Instantly, the studio erupts into movement. Crew members rush in from every direction. Headsets come off. Clipboards appear. Voices overlap. Was that planned? No, she just walked. Did we cut the feed? Are we still rolling? Dolly finally moves. She stands slowly, smoothing her outfit, her expression unchanged, calm, measured, but no longer warm. A young production assistant approaches her cautiously, like someone stepping near a quiet storm. Ms. Parton, the assistant says softly. Are you okay? Dolly nods once. I'm fine, sweetheart. Her voice is gentle, but there's something final in it. Across the studio, behind the curtain, Joy's voice echoes faintly. Sharp, angry. Words blur together. Frustration, disbelief, humiliation. I was doing my job. She turned it on me. You all saw it. A senior producer rushes toward the hallway. Joy, wait. But Joy keeps walking. Back on set, the host hovers near Dolly. I'm so sorry about that. That went off the rails. Dolly offers a small smile. Sometimes rails were never really there. The host doesn't know what to say to that. The audience is still seated, buzzing. Phones glow discreetly as people text furiously. Someone whispers, "This is going to blow up online." Dolly hears it. She turns toward the audience, addressing them without a microphone now. Her voice still carries. I hope you understand, she says. This wasn't about winning an argument. The room quiets. It was about not losing myself. Silence, then applause. Slow at first, then swelling, sincere. Behind the scenes, Joy stops in the makeup hallway. She stares at her reflection, mascara slightly smudged, lips pressed tight. A producer finally catches up. Joy, please, he says. We can talk. Joy laughs bitterly. Talk? She made me look like a bully on live television. She didn't raise her voice, the producer says carefully. That's the point, Joy snaps. She didn't have to. Joy sinks into a chair, suddenly exhausted. The adrenaline drains. What's left is something raw. Doubt. I've done this for decades, she mutters. I ask tough questions. The producer hesitates. Sometimes tough questions sound different depending on who's asking. Joy looks up sharply. You taking her side? I'm taking the show's side, he replies, and right now the show looks fractured. Joy rubs her temples. Back on set, the host receives another cue. We're back in 30. Dolly nods politely. If you'd like me to continue, I will. The host studies her, really studies her, and realizes something unsettling. Dolly isn't rattled. She isn't shaken. She's resolved. The red light flickers back on. The camera returns. The host addresses the viewers at home. We're back live. As you can see, things got a little intense. Dolly chuckles softly. Life does that. The host turns to her. Would you like to respond to what just happened? Dolly considers the question. The studio holds its breath. I don't believe in public shaming, she says slowly. And I don't believe in public silence either. She looks directly into the camera now. I believe words matter, tone matters, intent matters. And when we forget that, we hurt people, even when we don't mean to. Somewhere backstage, Joy watches the monitor. Her jaw tightens. That's not fair, Joy whispers. She's turning this into a sermon. But another voice inside her, quieter, less comfortable, asks a different question. What if she isn't? Back on set, Dolly finishes calmly. I respect strong women. I respect strong opinions. I just don't respect cruelty dressed up as honesty. The studio erupts again. The host nods, visibly moved. Thank you for saying that. The segment ends. But the story doesn't. Because behind the curtain, Joy Behar is standing and deciding whether she's walking back into that studio or walking away for good. The hallway feels longer than it did before. Joy stands still, staring at the monitor mounted high on the wall as the live feed cuts to commercials. Dolly's last words echo in her head. Not loud, not sharp, but impossibly steady. Cruelty dressed up as honesty. Joy scoffs under her breath. Please. But the scoff doesn't convince her. A stage manager approaches carefully. Joy, we're back in 4 minutes. If you want to return, this is the window. Joy looks down at her hands. They're trembling. I didn't do anything wrong, she says, more to herself than to him. The stage manager nods. I know. I'm just telling you the timing. He walks away. Joy exhales, long and slow. She thinks of the audience, the cameras, the decades she's spent surviving by being sharp before anyone could cut her first. Then she thinks of Dolly, calm, smiling, immovable. And that's what hurts the most. Back on set, Dolly sits alone now. The host has stepped aside, giving her space. A makeup artist dabs gently under her eyes. You okay? The artist whispers. Dolly smiles. I've been okay longer than most folks. Realize. She glances toward the curtain. She knows Joy is back there. She can feel it, the way you feel a storm, even before it breaks. The red light flickers again. We're live in 10. A producer calls out. The host returns to their seat. If Joy comes back, they say quietly, are you comfortable continuing? Dolly nods. I'm comfortable telling the truth. The countdown begins. 5, 4, 3. The curtain rustles. Joy steps back onto the set. The audience gasps, then applauds. Uncertain, curious, electric. Joy doesn't look at them. She walks straight to her chair, sits, adjusts her microphone with practiced precision. Her face is composed now. Professional. The host swallows. Joy, thank you for coming back. Joy nods once. I'm not running from a conversation. Dolly turns toward her. No smile this time. No challenge either. Just openness. I'm glad you stayed, Dolly says. Joy meets her eyes. For a moment, neither woman speaks. Then Joy laughs. Not sharply, not cruelly. Just tired. You know, Joy says, people think I enjoy making others uncomfortable. Dolly tilts her head slightly. Do you? Joy hesitates. The studio is silent. I enjoy honesty, Joy says carefully. But sometimes, I forget how it lands. Dolly nods. Impact matters more than intent. Joy exhales. You make that sound so simple. It isn't, Dolly replies. It just looks that way after a while. Joy looks down, then back up. When you said cruelty, that stung. I know, Dolly says gently. I didn't say it to hurt you. I said it because I've lived through it. Joy studies her. You think I was cruel? I think you were trying to be powerful, Dolly says, and power doesn't need to humiliate. The audience is utterly still. Joy leans back, eyes glistening despite herself. You know what scares me? She says quietly. Being irrelevant. Dolly reaches over, slowly, deliberately, and rests her hand on Joy's arm. Honey, she says, nothing honest is ever irrelevant. Joy laughs softly, shaking her head. You're infuriating. Dolly smiles. I've been called worse. The tension dissolves, not into triumph, but into something rarer, understanding. The host clears their throat. I think this might be one of the most real moments we've ever had on this show. Joy nods. Real doesn't always feel good. No, Dolly agrees, but it lasts longer. The camera pulls back. The audience rises in a standing ovation, not loud, not wild, but deep and sincere. As the lights dim and the credits roll, the internet is already on fire. Clips spreading, opinions clashing, headlines forming. But inside the studio, something quieter has happened. No one won. No one lost. Two women stood their ground and found it didn't have to mean standing alone. And long after the cameras shut off, that's the moment people will remember.